Now, the next thing I want to do is we're going to go to to reports and then to the parts department or parts inventory. And we're going to scroll down here to adjusted inventory, and we're going to run this report. And I would run this report every single day. I'd make sure that my parts manager was running it every day. And so let's just look at this thing for this week. So we're going to look at the report for this week. We can select users, but I'm really not interested in doing that primarily. So right now, there's a couple different things that I want to know. I want to know what parts were manually adjusted in or out of the system, and I also want to go and look at Lizzy adjustments. So the difference between these is that the manual adjustments took someone going and looking up a part and selecting the adjust inventory button. The Lizzy adjustments are where they click the red button on the invoice to have Lizzy adjust those parts out of stock. Or into stock, depending on what the situation was. So right now, we're just going to run this for manual adjustments for this week. And I can see here that all of these parts were adjusted out of inventory manually by some user, and I can see what user actually did it. So it gives me a really quick view of inventory discrepancies and things that are going on in the company, so that I can go look and see, why did you adjust these out? Where are these adapters? What is it that's going on here? If we go to Lizzy adjustments and we run that report, there's nothing found for this week, which is good, which means that from the parts counter, they didn't run into any situations where they needed to have Lizzy quickly adjust inventory. So that's actually a good sign. But I am a little bit concerned with the manual adjustments, because this indicates that either parts are being stolen or they're walking out of the dealership without being paid for. They're being put on service tickets and nobody's tracking the fact and billing the customers for them. So there's potential problems here that I want to make sure that I keep in touch with, to make sure that I understand exactly where all of these inventory items are going. Now, obviously, if I'm doing inventory, and say I'm randomly checking a bin's inventory, you're going to have adjustments on that inventory, but that's still information that you need to know, because if they're being adjusted out of inventory, then that means that Lizzy thought there were extra 6 screws or extra 6 or 7 of these adapters that were in the bin that aren't really in the bin. So where did they go? If you're watching this every day, it's actually a very good thing. Now, in addition, if I go back over here to parts inventory, there's one more report that we want to kind of keep up with, and that is our, items needing to be reviewed. So this list is going to bring up a list of all the items that at some point have had the red button clicked on the invoice, and no one has actually come in here and approved the adjustment yet. So, this is another list that I would look at daily to make sure that, if something shows up over here, one, it'll be on that list. Even after you approve the adjustment, it's still going to be on that other report that we were looking at. But this is something that's going to have to eventually be approved, because if you ever need to order any of these part numbers, you're not going to be able to complete that order until somebody approves the adjustment. So I would definitely make sure that the parts manager, as well as the owner, as an owner, that we're watching this thing every day or at least once a week to make sure that we're keeping up with this stuff.